Hey guys, welcome to class. My body's not really feeling it today. I'm kind of in a pain flare, but I'm trying to move and just stimulate my body a little bit so I don't get those added pains of just being sedentary or stiff in the body. My GI system is a little bit slow right now in its motility since I've been resting so much and since I have just general muscle tension throughout my whole body because I'm anticipating pain. I don't really want to move, but I know it'll make me feel better afterwards. I'm going to take it pretty intuitively and slow. A lot of breaks when I need that I encourage you to take as well if you're having a bad pain day. And get started. Grab a pillow if you want to follow along and place it in half on your thighs so your belly can really land in something squishy and have some firm contact on the outside. So I'm sinking into this child's pose, really just trying to soften my shoulders, giving some space between my hands, closing my eyes, really intentionally trying to breathe deeply into my belly, using the pillow as some feedback so I know where to move my body into. Because when we're in high chronic pain, we tend to be in a bit more of a heightened autonomic nervous system state. And when that happens, resources get pulled away from our GI system. So in general, our digestion might not be as optimal as it normally is. And then I'm just scanning through my body and trying to soften the areas as I go. Right, when we're in a state of chronic pain or a bad pain flare, our superficial soft tissue tends to be really tense. So take your time here and with your breath, feel into different parts of your body and try to soften a bit if you can. Use a breath as a helpful tool. On an inhale, hold some tension in the areas that you know are tight. On an exhale, really intentionally with cognitive thoughts, say release, relax. That might send some information to the areas of tension and you might find a bit of softening. And start to stretch your fingertips a little bit longer and intentionally think, don't necessarily move, your hips a little bit more back. Right, trying to create a little bit of space between each one of those spinal bones that can get a little compressed when we're sedentary or lay down a bunch. And then breathe into the back body, the space between the shoulders, mid-back, and the low back, base of sacrum, pelvis area. How can the breath and the lengthening of tailbone away from the hands create a bit more space? And then be intuitive here, right? We're staying with our body and you know what's best for you. You can rock the hips if you want to get some energy moving. You can roll the head around side to side. When you're ready, let's come up to tabletop position. Root down through your knees, shins, and feet. Even weight between all fingers of the hands. Press down through your left arm, and on an inhale, lift your right arm up. Let the gaze follow the hand. Exhale, lower the hand down. Switch arms. Left arm reaches up. Eyes follow. And go back and forth at your own pace, as fast or as slow as you want. Rotating the thoracic vertebra, the rib cage. Good. On your next exhale, come back to neutral. Tuck your toes under and send your hips more back onto your heels as your arms reach forward. Broadening the chest closer to the ground, forehead presses onto the ground as well. Bring space between your hands if this just feels like a crazy pinch in your shoulders. And then breathe into the back body. Inhale, come back up to tabletop position. This time, let the hips sink down, thighs press onto the mat. Chest lifts up, head rolls back. Open up the belly space. And if your GI system is feeling crazy right now, come down onto your forearms, a little bit less extension through the belly. Engage your core, press yourself back to tabletop position. Circle out and wiggle whatever feels stuck. And then when you're ready, press yourself up into down dog and walk your hands back to your feet, forward fold. Exhale the air out, and then inhale, straighten the back, engage your core, tailbone and head reach away from each other, finding length. Roll your head clockwise 3 times, and then counterclockwise 3 times. Roll the weight more into the toes and then the heels. Get your hips higher up into the air. Bend the knees as this helps you find that posture. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, engage the core. Puff the chest out. Crown of the head goes forward. Exhale, forward fold. And an inhale, really bend the knees and let the belly land on the thighs. And then breathe here for a few more rounds of breath. Exhale, come back to neutral, both feet pressing down on the ground. Bend the knees and one vertebra at a time, roll yourself up into standing. Bounce the knees a bit, feel heavy in the feet. And then broaden the chest, arms out wide. One hand goes to the belly. The other hand goes to the heart. Breathe into that space. Notice the sensations you're feeling. Be gentle with yourself. No need to rush this practice. This should feel yummy and intuitive movement-wise. And then bring your hands to the base of your collarbone and that soft spot right above the collarbone where it meets your neck. And with 2 fingers, and gently press the skin in and down, in and down, in and down. Do this a few times on both sides. It's a gentle stimulation of our lymph system. This is one of our biggest drainage ducts of the body. And when we're more on the sedentary side because we're resting, that's what our body needs, our lymph and our lymph system can get just a bit congested here and there, right? Movement really helps stimulate the lymph to move through our whole body system. Do this a few rounds, maybe wiggle your head side to side. Try to lengthen the space between collarbones and top of head. Exhale, forward, fold yourself down, walk your hands out, down dog. We're really trying to open the shoulders here, so when you exhale, bend the knees and really encourage your chest to move closer to your thighs. Inhale, make sure you're pressing down through pinky finger as much as you are through thumb. Broaden the base of your hands, find some stability. And then wiggle the hips side to side, intuitive movement here. Engage your core, lower the knees down, tabletop position. Belly button a bit closer to the low back spine. Lengthen from tailbone to crown of head. Look forward instead of down at your hands. Breathe into the belly and let yourself move forward into upward facing dog. Softening the hips down, pressing the thighs onto the ground, broadening the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades closer together. Weights in the fingertips and palm of hand. Exhale, engage the core, come back to tabletop position. And then tuck your toes under for some toe stretches. Let the hips land closer to the heels. Puppy pose, chest comes down to the ground. And then keep your right arm reaching forward, left arm lifts off the ground and swoops behind you towards your hips. Gaze follows the pattern. Inhale, bring the arm up forward, lift the hips, tabletop. Hip sinks back, arm reaches back, gaze follows. Inhale, come up to tabletop, and then move it around. Exhale, come back to puppy pose, hips sinking down, arms reaching forward, chest dipping. And press the weight into the right hand. Left arm reaches back towards the hips, gaze follows. Inhale, arm comes forward, hips come up. Exhale, arm reaches back, hips sink towards the heels. Do this 1 or 2 more times as needed for the body. Jiggling the hips or shoulders as needed. Good, and then sit yourself up on your feet. Both hands sitting behind you. Let your head drop back, really extend through your torso, root down through your hips. Big breath through the front of your chest and belly. Let the shoulders stack over your hips. Bring your hands by your side. And hips are stacked on top of the knees. Bring the hands to the front of your hips. Then step your right foot forward, low lunge. Nice 90-degree angles for both knee joints. And then with our core engaged, low belly lifting up, we slowly let the hips start to sink a bit more forward as our core stays stacked on top of our hips. Opening up the front of our quads, so that upper thigh region. Big breath into the ribs and back body. Soften any tension in the face or jaw. You can add a little pulsing into the hips if that feels nice. Use the support of your hands on your hips to help direct the stretch more into the quads. And then let the core gently go. Encourage your hips to roll and tilt a bit more forward as you sink deeper into your front knee. Finding the stretch moving up into your hip flexors and low belly on the left side. Engage the core, bring your hips to stack on top of the knee, and then straighten your front leg. Hips move to stack on top of the back foot. Hamstring stretch. And play with these two extremes. Hips can move forward and back as needed. Find a bit of hip mobility. And on your next inhale, engage your core, stack your hips over the center point of your knees. Bring weight into your front foot, tuck the back toes under, and gently step the left foot up into the air, straightening the right leg, bringing hands down to the ground. Flex the toes down towards the earth and the heel up towards the sky. Squaring the hips, and then bring left foot forward to meet right. Forward fold. Take a moment here. Big breath in and out. Do some intuitive movement as needed. And then inhale, reach your arms up over your head, stand up. Exhale, bring the hands to the belly. Feel the motility. Feel the firmness. Where do you still feel some stuckness in the belly region? A little self-massage of the tummy. Gently, like cat kneading, roll your hands from fingertips to palms over the belly. Exhale, step back, high plank on your fists. Strong moment here through the core, nice engagement. Hold firm, big breath, look forward. Exhale, rock the heels back and forth, lower the knees down, and press yourself back, child's pose. The torso come to stack over the knees. Step your left foot forward. Right angle between for both knee joints. Bring your hands to your hips. And slowly let yourself find a stretch through your quad with some core engagement as you gently bring your hips forward. Broaden your chest. And let the belly go. Encourage the hips to anteriorly tilt or roll forward Find a deeper stretch through the low belly and hip flexors. And then engage your core, encourage your hips to move back and land more over your back heel. Deep hamstring stretch. And then on this side, notice the quality of sensation compared to the other. Try to treat each hip socket as its own individual. Don't expect it to feel the same as the other. Move it around if you need a bit more mobility because you feel stiff in the hips. Working the hamstrings, hip flexors, and low belly. Bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Lift the back leg up. Bring the weight into the left foot. One-legged forward fold. Back heel is facing up. Toes are pointing down. You're evening and leveling out the hips. And then breathe and step the back foot in to meet the right. Big belly breath here. Bend the knees. Let the belly touch the knees. Move the organs around very gently in the belly space. Shake out the head, yes and no. Let it feel heavy as you encourage your sits bones at the bottom of your booty to lift up and the head to drop heavy. And keep the knees bent and roll yourself up to standing. Hands on the belly. Big breath into the belly region. Big breaths into the abdomen. Bring your hands up to either side of your collarbones. Gentle lymph work with 2 fingers. Bring the skin on top of your collarbone, that soft spot, in and down, in and down, in and down. And then when you're ready, find your way back into that supportive child's pose. Pillow on the belly. Stay here for as long as you need. I hope this helps you find a bit more mobility in your belly region for the days where you have to be a bit more calm and sedentary in order to manage your pain. I'll see you next time.